What's up, man? Happy 4th of July.
Happy 4th. Happy day Will Smith saved us all from the aliens.
Seriously, actually on Facebook, Jetta Patrol, he posted a cool figure of Will Smith, and I think it was a 6 scale or something. It looked dope.
From Independence Day?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if it was a hot toy or a third party, but it looked cool. Anyways, hello everybody. This is Bodacious Rant with Burn and Rye. And today, we're not talking about one specific thing. We are going to be talking about multiple things. Most likely just like our favorite stuff so far this year.
Yeah.
And
since we've hit the midway point, essentially. That's crazy,
yes.
though. Like, halfway through 2021. Like, it just happened so fast.
Yeah, like, oh, my sweet angel, she's barking at new people, sort of. She's seen them before, but, it's her house. She doesn't like people coming into her house. But, yeah, I mean, it's hard to believe it's already July. And so far, it's been a solid year, really. Like, there's been a lot of good stuff that's come out. Also, some bad stuff, but that's usual. Yeah. But I think this year, even though a lot of things were pushed back, it kind of worked out better that way, because there's been some solid stuff this year.
Yeah, a lot of the stuff that should have come out last year.
Exactly, but yeah. So today we're just gonna do a top 5 of either a show, like shows or movies we've liked so far. Yeah. I know my list is gonna be predominantly movies because not that I don't love the shows coming out, but it's just the movies are more important to me. I guess I enjoy them more a little bit, if that makes sense.
Yeah, totally. I'm there with you. Like, movies are my favorite thing, so. I mean, not that TV shows aren't great, because there's a lot of really good ones out there.
Absolutely. So, Burn, do you want to start? What was your one of your favorite things? It doesn't have to be from least to greatest. Just we'll do just random 5.
Okay. Well, the first one up on my list is it's a TV show. So, now that we were talking about TV shows, I'll get this one done first. So, the first one I'd like to talk about is the show Kim's Convenience, which is on Netflix. It is a Canadian show that kind of blew up in the last year, along with Schitt's Creek, which, again, if you haven't seen that show, you probably got to go check that out. Cause,
I need to finish that show, to be honest.
It's a good one. It is hilarious. But, Kim's Convenience is the one that I started watching this year and ended its run this year as well with its 5th and final season. And it's available on Netflix for anybody who wants to watch all 5 seasons. And the show is absolutely great. It's hilarious. The cast is fun. Simu Liu, who's going to be the main character in Shang-Chi, is one of the characters in the movie. In the show. And, this is just one of those shows that came out at the right time for me. It's like one of those where it's like very light, easy, very fun. It's hilarious. And it's just something that, again, struck at the right time at the beginning of this year where, things were just like, ugh. Like, it seemed like there was no end to the whole thing, crossing over from last year. So, yeah, this show, I think, was one of those, pick-me-up shows that I really enjoyed watching.
Okay, that's good. I mean, I know I saw that it did finish this year, but I haven't seen it. But besides the fact that, yeah, the main actor for Shang-Chi was in this show, like, that's kind of how he got his, like, not his start, but it's how he got bigger, I guess. Yeah. So I'll have to check it out. I need to. Sounds like a good show, and if you're comparing it to Schitt's Creek, that obviously means it's good, because Schitt's Creek is gold. So.
Yeah, definitely. Those two, you can't go wrong with either of them.
All right, Bern. Well, that's a good start. What else you got? What's another one?
The other one I got is In the Heights, which just came out last month.
That was a good movie.
Yeah, it was a really good movie. I'm a big fan of musicals. I know not a lot of people are, which I can get. Sometimes they can get a little bit over dramatic, and that's kind of like their thing. They're always big and bombastic and just wearing their emotions on their heels. And this one I really liked a lot. In particular, the last musical that I really enjoyed was the biopic Rocket Man, which came out like a couple years ago.
I think that's my favorite musical as well. But In the Heights was fantastic, presentation and everything. So yeah. Yeah,
and I mean, I never heard any of the songs or seen the Broadway play when it was out, and I know the only thing I knew about it, going in, was that it was a Lin-Manuel Miranda project that was one of his first works before he. Is like a huge superstar now with Hamilton. And this one was really good, man. It was really cool seeing representation in the Hispanic community. I know there have been some complaints about it that it maybe wasn't enough, but honestly, I had never seen this many Hispanics on screen that weren't either cholos or drug dealers. So it's like there was such a huge big thumbs up for me, and the music in it was great. It was just a great. It was one of those movies that really captures that summer feel, and I really enjoyed it. It reminded me a lot of when I saw Grease as a kid.
Grease. I loved Grease. But actually, I haven't seen Grease in a while. I should probably rewatch that. But yeah, no, I really liked it. I love the Latin representation. And it was not just, one specific Latin community. It was all kinds of, the Latinx people. So, we got some Colombian representation, Puerto Rican, Dominican, all kinds of nationalities, which I really loved. And again, the women were gorgeous. The guys everybody sang beautifully.
Yeah,
it was just great dancing all around. Like it was eye catching. So
yeah, and the director John M too, like really knows how to make the choreography just pop on screen. There was a lot of the set pieces that were just like, they would start off really intimate and they would just blow up into like these whole community dance routines, and that was just like pretty great to see.
Absolutely, yeah. It was fantastic. Do you want to keep going, or do you want me to take over?
Nah, you go.
Okay. Let me see. I think the first one that really I've enjoyed so far this year, was gonna be Army of the Dead. Zack Snyder.
Yeah.
This has been his year so far, so I'm super happy for him. And this was great. It was like literally a culmination of almost all his movies into one giant zombie epic film, heist film. And it was great seeing, a very diverse cast, great action, solid zombie lore, all kinds of stuff. So I'm really happy with it. Yeah, and like I said, I like to seeing Dave Bautista in like a good, like, not that he hasn't been in a bad lead role, but just the movies he's led haven't done that well. You know what I mean? Like Stuber, that I Spy movie. I don't think it did that well. I don't know. I didn't pay attention to that one, but I like it. Like I said, I really love the cast for this one and all the work that went into it.
Yeah, it seems like with this one, he's finally had a chance to really do some acting for the most part. I mean, like you said, in the movies that he has been the lead, it hasn't been anything of note in particular. Like they're kind of like just comedies, and he, he does have pretty good comedic chops, as we've seen, in his role as Drax in the Marvel movies, which he's great in. But yeah, I really did like Army of the Dead too. I'm so glad that we were able to go see it in theaters, because that was a really cool experience.
Yes, and then I did have one show on my list. So since you did a movie and a show, I'm gonna serve it back with a show. Technically, it was the last season of Castlevania. Just because last year in quarantine I binge watched all 3 seasons, because the third one dropped last March, and this one they finally finished, and for me it didn't disappoint. I really liked it through and through. It had a lot of great character development, beautiful animation, fantastic action, both literally and figuratively, and yeah, the way it ended, it just it hit home. So I'm really looking forward to some of the spin-offs that Netflix is going to do. And I've never played the Castlevania games, so I think this show was like enough for me. Like if they do a Castlevania video game, like a remake or a new series of games, I would probably do it just because of the show.
Yeah, I mean, now that the run of the show is over, I think we can definitively say that this is either one of or the best video game adaptations that we've gotten, because again, like you said, like going into it without really knowing too much about the video games, we got to know all these characters, and then we got to see, this world that we weren't really familiar with, and they exploited all that really well. And again, the action and the violence is just it's so great to see, them just cut loose in an animated format, and yeah, I mean, it was really well done. The last season isn't my favorite. I think my favorite is still probably season 2, just because, I mean, Dracula. You can't go wrong with the main villain being Dracula. Like, it's hard to come back from that.
Yeah.
But again, it was great ending to the show.
And it's kind of funny because like it's like he himself wasn't necessarily the main villain by the end of it. It was just like it's such a weird show, but that's why I like it, because it's like it plays on the typical story of like just vengeance and stuff, but really there's way more to it than that. So yeah, like I said, I really liked it. I'm glad it finally finished. It's a bummer, it's bittersweet, but
yeah, I think we have a spin-off coming, so that'll be something to look forward to.
We definitely got spin-offs coming, so I'm excited for those, but just without this crew, it's not the same.
But, I really got attached to the lead three in this show.
Well, what else you got from you, Bern? What's a couple other stuff? If anything, if you want to just do your three, you're more than welcome to.
No, I'll go back and forth one by one.
For sure.
See, so the next one I want to talk about is, like you said earlier, this is Zack Snyder's year, and I think his best movie that he's ever made is Zack Snyder's Justice League. I debated, whether to put this one on the list or not because, the movie came out in 2017, but, as I was thinking about it, this one is just so vastly different to the one that came out before. And
we don't talk about the other one before. This is the only one.
Yeah, no, that one is that can be erased from the annals of history.
before the powers that be close the annals of history, hear us out.
But I mean, like this movie is something that we've been talking about for the last 5 years almost, and it's kind of one of those things where it's like the sacred unicorn, where it's like, is it real? Is it not real? Is it ever going to happen? All of that build up, all of that hype that was just surrounding it. And then finally, early last year, we found out it was actually going to happen. It was one of those things I was like, this is probably one of my most anticipated movies ever. Just something I had been waiting to see just because of the disappointment that we got in 2017. And I mean, with all that hype going into it, the movie exceeded all my expectations. I mean, we got to know all these characters in a great full 4 hours. It's like everyone was given their due and everyone had their moments and the story was really good. Everything was just so fleshed out and so well done. And I just can't give it enough praise. It seems like at this point, this is probably all we're going to get from, the Snyder version of the DC stuff. And if this is the last thing we get, then this is what a note to go off on, because this is just great.
I'm just going to say this right now, # release the Snyderverse. And I'm going to leave that on the screen for the rest of the show. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, my God.
But no, exactly. I'm glad that we finally got to see his vision come true. Would it have made it into theaters? Most likely no, with a 4-hour runtime. Strictly on the runtime. But with HBO Max, and even though it's kind of teetering, it's not as good as it should be, the fact that we finally got to see it is so worth it. And that's why I'm loving Zack Snyder. That was on my list, but I let you take that one, Burn. So I'm like, you know what? That's fair.
I figured
we both loved it, man. So I mean, I'm glad we talked about it at all. But yeah, it's fine. We finally got to see it. We got to see a big movie done during COVID and stuff, and it still came out fantastic. So I'm like I said, that's a great one to talk about. Let me see what else did I really like this year. I'm gonna have to say that the other one, like another movie that really got me, that it's not the best movie, but it just completely took me by surprise, was Wrath of Man.
Oh, yes.
I kind of went into that movie, again, thinking it's going to be the dumbest thing ever, and wow, it was such a great action movie. One of the best this year for sure, if not one of the best one, just because it was such a strong story. It's like John Wick and I don't know, mixed together
or something.
Yeah, kind of. Like, it's just, oh my god, it was like, actually no, like John Wick and the Transporter mixed together, except not without driving and stuff, but it's just because it's Jason Statham. And yeah, I that movie had so much rewatchability to it. I went to go see it a couple times in the theaters, and yeah, it's on digital now, so I'm gonna probably buy it soon just because
nice.
I want to watch it again. It was so good. Jason Statham did a great job. I can't say enough about it. That's one everyone should definitely see for sure.
Yeah, I mean, that was probably one of the biggest surprises of the first half of this year, where, going into it, I didn't really know much about it. I don't think anyone really did, because it seemed like trailers dropped for the movie maybe only a week or two before it released, and I had no idea that it was a Guy Ritchie movie going in. I was like, oh wow, okay, Guy Ritchie did a movie with Jason Statham, and how did I not hear about this more? And sitting down in the theater and being like, okay, let's see what they have to offer, just because I really enjoyed The Gentleman when that came out. That was what, last year? And
last February, yeah.
Yeah, last February. So I was like, oh wow, this is 1 year after the other. This is pretty tight turnaround for Guy Ritchie.
I was gonna say either last February, January, or March. It's last year. It
Yeah,
doesn't
like
matter.
the beginning of last year, which was like 5, 10, 20 years ago at this point.
I just didn't know if he could repeat that success of The Gentleman, or like would I like it. And those two are some of my favorite Guy Ritchie movies right now. So, like I said, I was really happy with that one. But back to you, Byrne. Pass the ball to you.
Yeah, that was a really good action movie. And speaking of a really good movie, not surprising whatsoever, one of probably my second favorite on the list is Quiet Place Part 2. I mean,
I almost forgot about that one, but that was I don't know how. It's such a great movie.
yeah, I mean, it was one of those movies where I'm like, this is going to be great. And when we came into it, I was like, oh, thank God it's great. Just because, going into horror sequels, it's kind of like one of those things where you're like, I don't know if it can live up to the first one. Just because in this case, the first one was great. Which is probably one of the modern classics, I would say. And John Krasinski knocked it out of the park again. I mean, it's pretty awesome that he's found his way in Hollywood, not being a sitcom star anymore. Now he's like an action star and a director, and he's a great director.
And a horror director of that, too. So it's like, how does Jim from The Office go to directing like a fantastic horror franchise? It's such a funny thing. But yeah, it was so good. Continue the story beautifully. They already announced a Quiet Place Part 3, which I don't know if it will continue the same story of this family or take place with somebody different. That is yet to be seen. John Krasinski won't be back for that one, unfortunately. But either way, he had two great movies. Both, a sequel that followed a great movie, and that's very hard to do. Not everyone can say, oh yeah, my sequel's as good, if not maybe better than the first one, depending on your preference. So
yeah,
it was great. I'm so happy with that one. But my next one, and again, another movie that completely took me by surprise, was Cruella.
Yes.
I think that's one of the strongest movies of the year. The most successful adaptation Disney's had, live action adaptation for one of their animated characters. Went in wanting to hate it because Cruella's a monster who wants to skin dogs for a coat, so she can burn for all I care. But Emma Stone and the directors and writers, man, they flipped it. I was rooting for her near the end, and man, if they make a sequel to it, which I think they already announced, I'll see it. I'm down to see it. It was so great. Again, another movie I'm not necessarily a fashion person. I'm pretty basic when it comes to that. But the outfits and the costume design was great. I can't say that enough. Just beautiful all around. It was so fun and such a heartwarming story.
Yeah, it's one of the few live action Disney adaptations that where I would say the people behind the camera were really passionate about it. I mean, it just showed through on the screen. I mean, just like you said, the fashion design and the camera work and the setting, and just it seemed like a lot of work went into this, and it wasn't just one of those cheap cash grabs like Lion King that came out. It's
Lion King was definitely a cash grab.
Which is crazy because we only had another villain live action adaptation with Maleficent, and that one didn't turn out great. So going into this one, we have these reservations of like, okay, this is probably just going to be another disappointing live action adaptation, and it wasn't, and it really wasn't. I mean, everyone involved did such a great job in this, and like you said, it kind of took me by surprise.
Yeah, again, just applause to the cast and everybody. It was so good. I can't wait for that one to be on Disney Plus so I can rewatch that too.
Yeah, absolutely. And for my last but not least, I would say this is probably my favorite thing of the first half of the year so far, probably by a wide margin, is the Netflix comedy special, Bo Burnham Inside. And I don't know if a lot of people heard about this one or, really are aware. I mean, Bo Burnham's a stand-up comedian who does a lot of musical comedy. And he's done a few things here in Hollywood. Notably directing that movie 8th Grade that came out, I think, a couple of years ago at this point. Mm-hmm. But this movie, I mean, it's hard to classify what this is other than it just being an experience, because it does say it's a comedy special, but it feels like it's just so much more than that. Bo Burnham wrote, directed, produced, shot, everything, like all by himself, and with this special, which takes place in his little back house. I would say it's honestly, it's one of the most creative things I've ever seen at this point, and I think it's easily one of the most creative things to come out of the lockdown from last year, where everybody was stuck inside. But all the songs, all the performances, all the bits, all the sketches that he does within this really capture the feeling of what I think everybody was going through last year, and it does so in such an entertaining and creative fashion. Where I think maybe one song won't relate, but then another one will come in and will just resonate with you immediately. And it's just, again, one of those things that touches on a lot of hard subjects. Again, last year wasn't easy for a lot of people. Yeah. And it's just one of those things where, once it's over, I was just like, this is a creative masterpiece. And I think everybody owes it to themselves to watch it at least once, because this is just some incredible work that I haven't seen in a long time.
For sure, man. I will definitely have to check that one out. And my last one, it's... Dang. It was a little hard to do this one. I'll probably change. I'll probably look back later this year and be like, man, I should have changed it. But I'm gonna go with Mortal Kombat for my last one, just because I was looking forward to that movie for a hot minute. And looking back on it, it's not the best. I'm gonna acknowledge it's not perfect by any means, but I think what they did with it by making a predominantly Asian cast, which actually made it feel more authentic, especially for Sub-Zero and Scorpion with Hiroyuki Sanada and Joe Taslim. I think it brought that level of authenticity and also just caliber, because they're both fantastic martial artists. So seeing them go at it as Sub-Zero and Scorpion won it for me. And I can't wait for that franchise to keep going. I hope it keeps going, because I know there's talks that it may not. So it was just nice seeing this a video game franchise being brought back, and I think, in my opinion, successfully.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, like we've said with Castlevania, this is probably one of the better video game adaptations that we've gotten. And it really is a credit to the cast for that. The actor who played Kano was just wildly entertaining. And like you said, the two big ones in this, Hiroyuki Sanada and Joe Taslim, they just anchored the movie down, and they were the most entertaining part of it. And they just elevated it to another level, which I was like, with Scorpion and Sub-Zero, you have to do, and they absolutely did.
Yeah, again, costume design, action was fantastic. So, like I said, that's my top 5 so far for the year. Again, it's hard to believe it's already July, my friend, but yeah, shit, we'll be doing the full year review of 2021 in the coming months. Specifically December, just because it's getting there. But yeah, anything else, Bern? You want to do an honorable mention of anything, anything that didn't make the list?
I'll just throw in a couple of honorable mentions, and they're both the two Marvel shows that have already had their run. I mean, I would include Loki on the list, but that hasn't ended yet. So, WandaVision and Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I think, deserves an honorable mention, especially WandaVision. What they've done with all these characters who were side characters in the Marvel Universe is just absolutely fantastic. Making them real headliners going forward in Phase 4 and onward in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So, the shows are really creative and they're really well done. And they're, like we've said in our reviews for them, they're just, movie budget, TV shows. And it's really cool to see.
Absolutely. You kind of stole those choices from me. So. But yeah, no, that's I would agree with you. WandaVision and Falcon and Winter Soldier, they were great. They just didn't make my list just because of the reasons I've said. But yeah, those are definitely some shows that if you have Disney Plus, please check it out, because they're so worth it. They add more to the future of the MCU and the current one, that the previous ones we had. So, Loki's gonna finish up soon, so I can't wait for that. We got Black Widow coming out, and everything. Spider-Man, Shang-Chi, and
the Eternals.
What else is coming out? The Eternals. Thank you. I keep forgetting about that one. But yeah, I'm excited. But now I must get to festivities with the familia for 4th of July, and you and your brother are gonna go, fire off some firecrackers, or
we're gonna go burn some fields down right now. It's gonna be awesome.
Go blow up a mailbox.
Scare all the dogs.
And we're gonna go fight some aliens, right, Bern? With Independence Day happening.
Absolutely, with some cigars the same.
Stupid, I was gonna say. All right, my dude, and everybody, hope everybody has a safe, 4th of July, and hopefully everybody's year's going pretty good so far. Let us know in the comments if there's anything we didn't talk about that you want us to mention or check out. We'd appreciate it, because
what are your favorites?
yeah, and we don't mind an extra opinion, so please let us know. And stay bodacious and keep on ranting, burn. I'll talk to you later, my friend.
Absolutely, everybody. Halfway through the year, and we got another half to look forward to, and we're gonna be here for it. So, just keep on keeping on.
Exactly. I'll talk to you later, dude.
Adios, man.
Wait,
hold on.
We completely forgot one.
Hold on, everybody.
I can't believe we forgot this.
We're
this is one of the best shows of the year.
took, both of us.
You know what? I'm gonna, not only is this an honorable mention, I'm gonna take out Castlevania and completely replace this with Amazon's Invincible. I can't believe we forgot to talk about that.
Oh my god, I feel so bad.
I do feel terrible. I mean, I thought about it and I was like, no, wait, we didn't talk about this.
It absolutely is one of the best things of the year.
Oh my god, yeah, Robert Kirkman's, again, a successful adaptation of his works on Amazon. It was a fantastic animated show, very adult. I thought Castlevania was gruesome. This is almost, if not worse. I think this is worse, to be honest. Like, way more violent, but such a great story at its heart. Fantastic cast with, J.K. Simmons and what's the guy from The Walking Dead? Stephen Yeun, thank you. Oh, man. I can't believe we didn't talk about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, one of those shows that just came out of nowhere and just absolutely hit the ground running. It's just one of the best animated shows I think we've gotten in a long time, along with Castlevania, I'll say. But man, Invincible.
This dwarfs it.
Yeah,
I don't know how I forgot about
Invincible
this.
Invincible is just on a whole nother level. And if you guys haven't seen it, you are doing yourself a huge disservice because it is one of the best shows out there right now. And the first season's had its run, and it's all available on Amazon Prime. So you owe it to yourselves to watch the show because it is absolutely fantastic.
Yes. Oh, man. Again, I can't believe we forgot about that. And there's 2 seasons coming in the coming...
Yeah, already confirmed for 2 more.
I can't wait for it. I'm going to actually buy the omnibuses just to start reading them, just to get myself immersed in Invincible, because this show it was so good. And again, I think after this show, it's a little hard to find those books now on Amazon, especially just because everybody's buying them.
I checked after the season ended, and they were all sold out. I was like, oh my gosh, everybody is really feeling this show.
Oh man, I can't believe I forgot about that. But we got to talk about that. So again, that's if there's anything we've talked about this year besides Army of the Dead, Justice League, Wrath of Man, and all that stuff, Invincible is the one show you need to watch.
Yeah, if you're only going to watch one show,
superhero fan. Yeah, literally. Like, if you just watch that show this year so far, I think you're fine. Mm-hmm. You don't need to watch Falcon Winter Soldier. You don't need to watch WandaVision. You should, but you don't have to if you watch Invincible.
Yeah, absolutely. If someone had a gun in your head and said you only can watch one, watch this one. Watch
Invincible.
This one.
Yeah, I would watch that over everything so far. So.
Absolutely.
Oh man, but I'm glad we got to finish on that. So everybody, let us know in the comments what you liked this year, and stay bodacious, keep on ranting, burn. I'll talk to you later, my dude.
Absolutely, everybody. Bye bye for reals this time.
Seriously, for real, for real.
For real.